Hey everybody, this is Alexis here, and this is my second video. I've either been coughing or the webcam's cut out on me. I'm just going to run with it. And this will be my second video, which will be on my coming out story. It'll be a bit of a long video, so I suggest you get yourself comfortable, maybe pause it, go get yourself a nice cup of coffee. If you pause it, I'll wait, it's fine. You're back, brilliant. So this is going to be my coming out story. It's going to be the story of my life up to this point, showing you how I got to where I am today, and kind of where I am today, because I don't believe I pretty much covered that in my first video, so I'll tell you how I got to where I am today. We'll start at primary school. I noticed I wasn't like, I'm going to rush forward until I get to the good bits. I found out I wasn't like very many other boys. I did wear my mother's clothes when I was really younger. This was about 8 years of age. I'm going to talk really fast to try and keep up. Most of the friends I had were girls, and I was a strange child. I was a creative child. I liked to use my imagination a lot, and it just outcast me from the rest of my pupils. But in 2008, I believe, I transferred from Coventry in England to Wales, and I joined comprehensive school, which is secondary school over there. And again, while I was there, I noticed I wasn't like the other boys. They wanted to be rough and tumble, they wanted to play the rugby, they wanted to play the football, they wanted to fight. But I was unfortunately placed with the outcasts, the weird kids. And I found that they were really the only group of people that shared my creativity and just really knew what it was like to have the world against you. Excuse me. I am really ill, so you'll have to excuse me. But, yes, I was with the outcasts, and I realised by this point that the only way I would survive in this school is to become male. But by this point, I mean, I already was male, but there was this void inside me that said, you know what, something's not right with you. By this point, I'd stopped wearing my mother's clothes, because I was afraid of getting caught, and I didn't want that, because I thought it would end badly. My mother would disown me and throw me out the house for being strange, and yeah. But during my childhood, I told my cousins that I wanted to be a girl, and that was going on for a while, but I decided that this isn't going to happen, so the only way I'm going to survive is if I become like all the other boys. So I started playing rugby, I started going to the school gym, I started scrapping with the outcasts, I learned to fight, I learned to survive. I made myself as masculine as I possibly could. But I don't know, by the time I reached year 11 and I was about to take my exams, I still wasn't surviving. They were making my life a living hell. They just did everything they could in their power to make my life uncomfortable. But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't be masculine. I was always creative and weird and all this jazz. But by this time, like wearing my mother's clothes came back, and it was stronger than ever. I done it on a more often basis. But once I passed my GCSEs, I started college, and this is where my life really changed. I started with forensic science in 2008, and I did that for a year. I was also doing a GCSE Japanese course on the side, which I'm getting pretty good at now. That's a little project I'm working on. But I'm getting pretty good at Japanese now. I digress. That's going off topic. But I did that for a year, and then my nan died, and it was a bit of a tragic moment in my life, and I couldn't keep up with the work, so I had to leave the course. And I was still doing the Japanese course at the time, but I was using my spare time to find out who I was, because I really wasn't sure by this point. But I did realise that college was a whole different ballgame to school, because people understood you, people treated you with way more respect. But during my Japanese course, I met a girl called Esha, and this was where the turning point began. Because come my 17th birthday, I think, I'm not entirely sure, but come my 17th birthday, me and this girl that I met in my Japanese course kind of bonded together as a couple. but it didn't work out very well. We lasted 3 years, I think. It lasted a while, but 2 of those 3 years was spent ripping each other's throats out because our personalities were so different that they clashed. But that's beside the point. What she did do for me was, I said to myself by this point, okay, what I'm going to do, excuse me, what I'm going to do is, if I can't become a girl, I'm going to learn everything I can and try and find out what it's like to be a girl, and be the closest thing. So I said to Esha, look, I have a project that I want to include you in. I want to learn and understand what it means to be female. I want to understand the female race a lot better than I do. So from there, she taught me hair, makeup, clothes, boys, diaries. We watched TV shows, girly TV shows, girly films, watched America's Next Top Model with each other. By this time, I'd rejoined college, passed my GCSE Japanese course, rejoined college with art and design with Esha, and that was when everything started falling apart throughout that year. But it was throughout that year that I watched a season of America's Next Top Model, and for those of you who watched it, you'll remember the contestant Isis, and my webcam has had a habit of disconnecting, so this might be a 2-part video, but you'll remember a contestant called Isis. For those of you who haven't watched it, this contestant was picked up off the street in the middle of the series and asked to be a background girl for the main models. And Tyra found this girl, the person that hosts Next Top Model, found this girl in the photos. She stood out and she said, look, we want you in the series. And so she was let in the series. I believe that's how it went, I'm not quite sure. But she had a secret, and this is the first time I had ever heard the word. I need to keep my voice nice and moisturized, otherwise I'm going to cough. But this was the first time I'd ever heard the word transgender. She was a pre-op transgender who had been on HRT for about 2-3 years, and I was astonished. This person who was born the exact same gender I am looked like she did. I wanted to know everything. I immediately went onto the laptop and searched up every single thing I could. Now, back then, my search engine usage skill wasn't up to the standard it is now. So everything I did find was all the negative stuff, like all the bad stories about how transgender people are raped, beaten, and don't think that's what it means to be transgender, because it's not. That's just minorities, really. It's a small percentage compared to how many people actually have happy outcomes when they go through transition. I don't want to scare anyone off, but I got the bad news of it, and it scared me. It really did. So I thought I was some sort of monster, that no one was gonna accept me for who I was, especially not the person who I'm supposed to love, who I didn't really love at this point anymore. I kind of drifted away because we quarrelled so much. But from there, once me and Esha had broken up, I'd finished art and design, and I'd also finished half of my next course, which was interactive media. And I was keeping the transgender thing to myself. I was exploring it a little bit more, trying to make sure I got all the right information, but I kept it to myself. And I went through forensic science. I went through interactive media, and it came out with the same outcome as forensic science. My grandfather had died. No, my grandfather died in forensic science, sorry. My grandmother died, and that was even more hard-hitting than my grandfather dying. I'll tell you those stories at the time, but it was really hard-hitting for me. I couldn't keep up with the work. I developed depression and insomnia, and I don't know, I collapsed, and I kept falling asleep in lesson, and they kicked me out as a result. So I then spent the rest of the year again searching myself, but this time I had nothing on the side. I was literally just me and the world, and it caused me to think about a lot of things. It caused me to look around, and ooh, hello screensaver, and I don't know, I got some more information and it was starting to look a bit further up, but the stories I'd heard just frightened me to death. Now this next bit is where everything starts taking a turn for the better, but unfortunately I've already hit 10 minutes. So if you want to see the rest of the story, you can click a little link down here. If you have had enough, or you want to go for a break, or you want to go get a coffee and refresh yourself before you come back, because you're all lovely people, you can, but there will be a second video to this. So I'll see you in the second video, guys. Bye.